Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Do you think that the assets, the Russians' assets, will ever be given back to Russia? And if yes, what do you think would be the moment when that would occur, or the circumstances? Well, as of now, I guarantee you that Russia will never get those assets. G7 just decided that because that's their assets, not some other entity's assets. That's the first topic. The second one, the Germans shoot themselves in the foot again. Why? Well, I understand. I'm completely understand. I'm for sacrificing your well-being, your livelihood for principles, for values. Now then you have values. Go as far as you can to defend them, protect them. Germany is not in that situation where it has values or principles. And because of the principles, it decides to flagellate itself in order to uphold its values. No, it's not. They're not. They're America's jackals, vassal states. So they will state and will do what the Americans tell them. So Berlin doesn't want to do anything with the NordStream pipelines. Kills them. That's it. We don't need Russian gas. We're going to buy more expensive gas from the Americans. Why? Because somehow the Russians are bad or evil and somehow the Americans are good. But hey, do not look, let's say, in the past 34 years in America's history. No. Don't look. And you can look even further back. All right? But hey, Russians are bad, imperialistics. We're going to buy from the good people, good country of US. I'm not here to bash the US, but a little bit, the nose a little bit lower. That's what I mean. And Germany is a moral state and, never forget. And all right. And then we have this little situation. I personally always hate it. When I was a child and teenager, then young adult, and I think that the weak should be recognized as weak, and the weak should be in line to achieve certain things based on its power. I never liked weak people having power that they did not deserve. And you can say, wait a minute, that means they're strong if they're not weak if they have power. Well, we're going to discuss that one. All right, I can give you some examples with Lithuania. For instance, I can give you some examples with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. If you think that those guys are smart and they were president and vice president, then, I'm wrong. So that's then the last topic. Bloomberg reveals the 18th sanctions, European Union's 18th sanctions package against Russia. I will go one by one and read them for you. So these guys are going to challenge, they call it. I think they're just poking the bear. And the bear one day, I hope it doesn't snap because London will go. That's the main guy over there. So let's start with the first topic. Ukrainska Pravda. G7, okay, that's 7 countries on this planet. That's all. 7 out of 193, sometimes 94, depends what regime CIA changes, okay, overthrows. And we got more or less countries. G7 on Russian assets, and I'm quoting, this is idiocracy. They'll remain frozen until Moscow ends war, well, it could happen, and compensate Ukraine. That would not happen. You know that Russia, if it stays the way it is, will never compensate anybody. Why? Because they think they're on the right. They think what they're doing is right. They claim we are the victims. You attacked us. NATO came to our neighborhood. We didn't go towards NATO. NATO came over here. NATO is not a defensive organization. You want to know why? Well, how about you look in Yugoslavia? I don't have to go over all these guys. They were NATO countries only. Yugoslavia, Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, now Ukraine. It's only NATO countries. It's not, Honduras, or I don't know, my friends from Zimbabwe. No, it's not. It's the NATO all the time. But they're defensive. You know how they're defensive? Have an interest over there. Oh, it's a genocide. I think I intervene, except the Middle East. I'm going to go over there in the genocide and stop the genocide, like Yugoslavia. All right. And for the good people. All right. So that's, again, Ukraine will never be compensated by Russia. Will be, how do you call it, occupied by Russia. Will be rebuilt by Russian companies. But no. Then it could be only if, let's say, the government in Russia just collapses and a weasel will take over, like in the European Union, and the jackal that's going to sell Russia. Then yes, it's going to compensate, and that means the Russian people will become the slaves of the European Union, clearly. So what Hitler could not achieve, these guys achieved. Remember Lebensraum? That's exactly what that guy wanted, living space. And that is those guys, they call them Slavs, and the Slavs, he considered them, you remember how he considered them? Considered the Slavs? It's in his book, Mein Struggle, remember? All right, not even, so there you have subway, yeah, all right. So then, these guys are going to do the same thing with the Slavs. Poland already is gone. They want to take Czech Republic, if you consider them Slavs. They're already gone, because I don't know if they consider themselves Slavs. You know, they're a bit Germanic. They're like, they all want to be Germans. Look where Germany is. Anyway, and again, there's not going to be any payback unless, and the war could be ended. The Russians will not pay. Will reconstruct, but not pay. Or repay, or something like that. Again, G7. No thaw for Russian frozen assets until Ukraine is repaid. Clear? That means we're going to go to war until one of you cracks. That's the whole point right here. Russia's sovereign assets will remain immobilized. No. Looted, that's what it is, until Moscow ends its aggression against Ukraine and pays for the damage it has caused, the group of 7 G7 finance ministers and central bank governors stated in the May 22 communique after the meeting in Banff, Canada. So let me explain to you. Let's say you and I have a little scuffle in a neighborhood and we start fighting, boom, 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 boom. For whatever reason, because other people in other neighborhoods thought that they should bring right here some weapons next to my doorstep. And I didn't want that. So I told them back off, they didn't. So unprovoked, and by the way, you were beating my children, okay? So I'm going to go and smack you a little bit. So I go over there and smack you, those guys intervene, and remember, we have an organization, United Nations, and others that would dictate. No, they don't. And those countries decided, you know what? We have some of your, there's some banks, and we have our banks. We're going to freeze your assets in our banks or wherever you have them in our neighborhood. Just because, but we're not at war. To me, that's a declaration of war. Are you involved in this? No. Are you the United Nations? Are you the government? Are you the county? Are you the mayor of the city? Who are you? Some other countries. And they decide to do this to me. Am I going to invest ever in those countries? Will anyone invest in those countries? Because if they don't follow the orders of those countries, those interests in the West, if they don't follow the orders, the same could happen to them. So do you want to do business with these guys? No, you do business with China, India, and the rest of the world. And screw the 5 countries over there. That's it. Because those countries, without these countries' resources and market, they're dead. They're already dead. They're in putrefaction. You can smell them. Anyway, let's move on. Berlin backs EU move to kill Russia's NordStream for good. It's not the EU move. That comes from somewhere else. All right? So anyway, kill NordStream for good. Kill it, my man. Do whatever you want, man. You're going to screw your Deutsche Volk. But you don't care. Supposedly this guy is a conservative, but he has a government where he has a socialist party on the other side. So they are together, the capitalists with the socialists. Where that means the third option, which would have been the right-wing alternative for Deutschland, is again, this sounds to me like the Second World War, when the capitalists in Great Britain were very eager beavers to fight the capitalist Germans, but they did not fight the communists, the criminal communists, the Soviets. No, no, no. They declared war only to the capitalist Germany, but they did not declare war for the same thing, for the same actions, to the Soviets when they invaded Poland. So remember, Germany invaded in the 1st of September 1939, and I think on the 18th of the same month, September, the Soviet army came from the other side and they met in the middle. And the Brits went halfway. They said, oh, we're going to defend Poland and we're going to declare war only to the capitalist right there, not the communist. Why? Who was in charge of Great Britain? We can say that. All right? So the same with this guy. This imbecile has a coalition government. Supposedly he's a center right. He's not. He's a globalist. Right? That's what he is. And he has a coalition government with a communist, socialist against other capitalists. That's fantastic, don't you think? And they're going to screw the German people. They will kill NordStream. So they're going to avoid or not buy cheap Russian gas, but will buy American liquefied natural gas 3 to 4 times more expensive. Sounds like a good deal, right? I mean, values. We have values. Deutschland has values, right? Come on, I mean, it's just imbecilic. And in the same time, Germany's freedom of speech is garbage. Germany's right to bear arms and own arms are zero. I mean, not zero, but it's garbage. Then the Germans have about 70,000 American troops occupying their country. Germany has nuclear weapons, foreign countries, nuclear weapons deployed on its country's territory. But hey, Germany is free and Germany has values. First, why don't you tell the Americans to fuck off and leave? Right? How about you allow freedom of speech? Allow your citizenry to defend themselves from you, the government, and then maybe we're talking. They won't do this. They want to ban political parties, alternative for Deutschland. Why? Some people decreed that is an extremist. Well, do you think Christopher Columbus, Drake, not Drake, the rapper, and others were cook? Do you think these guys, not the cook is cooking your food, all these explorers, do you think they were extreme? Do you think that the biggest inventors, do you think that Nikola Tesla was extreme? Or he was just a mainstream like everybody else, like a sheep? What do you think they were? They were very much fucking extreme. So again, when you see, he's an extreme. How are you going to discover things? How are you going to do something if I don't train hard every day and every night to the extreme? I will not win the world tournament. Do you think it just comes if I just train a little bit over there and then go to fight? No, there's going to be a low level. But hey, we promote this. Why? So they can train hard. Their children are extreme. The elite's children are extreme, but they tell us not to be extreme. So we don't challenge them. All right, next, let's go to the Lithuanians. Lithuania deserves a smack, I tell you this. Lithuania, Estonia, the Baltic states, Poland, these guys really talk too much. And they shouldn't talk like that. Lithuanian president calls the European Union sanctions on Russia insufficient, urges tougher action. So this guy, this is what I dislike. Lithuania is weak, by all means. The only thing it has, it is an organization, and through numbers, they become stronger. You know what I mean? That's all. I'm going to give you examples. The pinky. The pinky, even if you stick it in someone's ass, is not going to hurt. Okay, so it's useless. It's nothing. But together with everybody else, going to turn into a fist, and then look how strong we are. This is the whole thing. And these guys, the Lithuanians, tell everybody else, let's fight the Russians together. Now, I always hated this. In my younger years, I thought, people call their brothers, and people call their gangs, and people call their cousins and all that, and you have to fight others. And the motherfucker weak guy came with stronger guys to beat you up. So I encountered this firsthand. And then when I get the baboon again, I will fuck him up right there. Why? Because you're weak. You deserve to be weak and stay there. You want to get stronger? Get some bows. And they didn't have bows. That's why mainly people are weak because they don't have bows. That's the main thing. Look at a an aggressive little dog versus a big dog. Has the potential but has no balls. Versus a little fucker. He's gonna bite you on your ankle. The other guy is like, balls. That makes a difference. Even if you don't have the potential. Now, Lithuania has neither the balls nor the potential. But it wants to fight Russia with someone else. With someone else's resource. Let's go. Everybody meaning everybody else but Lithuania. Lithuania has what? 2.8 million people or something? That's all. That's a village. 2.8 million, not billion, million people, if you have any, And let's everybody fight Russia. I mean, for me, that's very, very, very irritating to say the least. And let's go to the last one and see the set of sanctions. Bloomberg reveals what's in the EU's 18th sanctions package against Russia. That means screwing themselves. The European Union is considering lowering the price cap on Russian oil as part of its upcoming 18th sanctions package against Russia. Now, this is not that the European Union will not buy gas. They want nobody on this planet to buy Russian gas. That's what it is. Do they have the authority? No, they don't. When they put the price cap at 45 now, they said 45 out of $60 a barrel. When they put that price, they expect everybody else in the neighborhood to follow that. Otherwise, we're going to smack you. But who are we? We are better than you. No, we're stronger than you, remember? And they're all at the shade or shadow of the United States of America. Without the United States of America, these guys are going to be just laying down on the concrete, decomposing. I'm talking about the old whores of Europe, Great Britain, Germany, France, mainly. Here it is. The draft's measures may also include new restrictions on Russian banks and ban on constructing future NordStream gas pipelines. So they already plan ahead. It's okay, that could be changed. Additional to the report, EU officials want to disconnect more than 20 Russian banks from SWIFT international payment system. Remember, if the Chinese see this, if everybody else on this planet see this, they say, okay, the Russians did not do what the West wanted them to do. So they will disconnect them. So any country that makes deals, transactions through SWIFT should be very wary. It's okay. BRICS are already building their alternative SWIFT kind of thing. The bloc is also preparing trade restrictions worth approximately 2.5 billion aimed at curbing Russia's revenue streams. But that's going to hurt you as well, the bloc. They don't care. They don't care. One of the key proposals involves cutting the G7 oil price cap from the current $60 per barrel to $45 per barrel. Bloomberg notes this move would require US backing. You see, always go to these guys because they're weasels. As I said, they are decomposing cadavers on the concrete in the hot sun. You like that? Okay, me too. However, finance ministers from the G7 failed to reach an agreement on the issue during their meeting in Canada this week. The EU also intends to expand sanctions on Russia's so-called shadow fleet of oil tankers, and it's weighing further restrictions on lenders suspected of supporting Moscow's war effort. So, lenders are countries or other businesses located in other countries, not in the European Union. And then what do you think the Russians will do when Lithuania or Latvia or Estonia stop one of their shadow fleet? They're going to shoot at them, like they did with that airplane. What it was, Sukhoi 35, entered Estonia's airspace and they released the Russian vessel. Why? Are you going to fight? Nobody's going to help you, Estonia. So shut the fuck up. All right. So again, these guys want to do what else? We know what these guys already want. What do you want, my friends? What do you want? These guys, not only they are shooting themselves in the foot, they are isolating themselves. There's a big world out there. The Russians have so many markets they can do business with. Even if it's only China and Russia on this planet, it's good enough. And India, that's good enough. That's almost half of the global population. Almost, I'm just saying, I'm exaggerating. At 3 out of 7 billion. So, and not only that, it's just idiotic. Russia has the resources, has the military to protect its resources. China has the market. China has the production, needs these guys' resources. They also can defend themselves. India, the same thing. They are emerging economies. India, that means they want to build things. They want things. And that's half of the planet. So why do they need a dying whore? Like Great Britain with no fucking resources, but maybe some fish and some rain. and some grazing sheep and 2 cows. What else do they have? They found any oil? Yeah, they have a little bit of gas, but that's it. They buy it from Norway. Without Norway, the Europe is like dead. Because Norway found some freaking gas and oil in the North Sea or whatever they found over in the Atlantic Ocean. Oh my God, they're all happy about it. Without that, they will be dying communists. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.